How's it going, everybody? Well, how's it going, V? How's it going, everybody in the chat? So the setup's gonna look a little whack for a second here, okay? I apologize. I don't know. I'm not gonna say it's gonna get better. That's gonna make it sound like this is gonna turn into something awesome. So what I'm gonna do here is, last night I was looking through a sketchbook I had, and I think we were actually talking about sketchbooks for a little while. Just a quick little note. I'm a hairy guy, but the lighting in this crap webcam, look how gross. God, it's just nasty. It's just, I don't think I'm that gross in real life. I can guarantee it has something to do with the lighting. That's my excuse anyway. How's it going, Ben? How's it going, Kidjan? Okay, so what are we doing? We're gonna be doing a whole bunch of drawing tonight. I'm pretty sure the girlfriend and I aren't doing anything. There's no plans, so today's Friday. So we get to draw. Anyway, what I was saying was I want to get back into doing some warm ups. A lot of people have been talking about warm ups lately, actually, but for a couple reasons. One is a great, for me anyway, a great thing to do is to have like a backlog of stuff that I can pull from. You guys know on Patreon I offer bust sketches of like a character of your choice. And I've been doing a bunch of them live with you guys as well, so it's all been pretty cool seeing all that. However, I want to just what's the word? Extrapolate that a little bit more and get back into doing stuff like this. You guys remember me probably posting things like that. You won't be able to see that on the webcam, but what we're gonna do is silhouettes. And again, if you guys follow Sketchcraft, it's a wonderful YouTube channel. Go check his content out. Amazing guy. But I do this all the time with concept art as well, and you guys know what I'm doing. You guys all know this, right? So I'm doing all this here, and we're going to be doing that right now. And like I say, I'm even considering. I'm going to try anyway as an interesting experiment to even try to wake up earlier during the work week of getting up just to do one of these a day. Okay, and that's great. Right now, I'm going to start it off great. We're going to do four, so that might take like about an hour. I'm not sure. So that's why you can still see the screen. What I'm going to be doing is we're going to do the silhouettes right on this thing, and then I'm going to print them out, and then we'll like blow the webcam up so you guys can kind of see it a little bit better. And then we're just going to be grabbing a red pencil. I don't have any blue with me. Red's pretty nice, and then just like a generic inking tool just to like sort of bring out those lines, and then that's it. And it's not finished artwork. It's nothing like that. It's just a great way to break rust off. I've talked about that of just trying to see like, okay, with especially with silhouettes, and this goes with anything that you're drawing, is how do you get it into its most basic form, but understand the shape that you're doing. You don't always have to have a circle for a shoulder. You can have that teardrop shape, but how does that look in three-dimensional space in a simplistic way so that you're not spending like a bajillion hours rendering the hell out of this? The idea is to have the form down here, and then you could put like the pretty art or the style on top of this, right? Kind of talked about this, I think, yesterday or the day before when I was trying to show you guys. In my opinion, if you're learning to do comics, a lot better is just to do pages like this. And you can't really, let me zoom in so you can kind of see what the hell you're looking at. If you do your comic pages just like this, you'll save yourself a whole bunch of time um, from rendering and making the artwork feel finished, and you'll actually start leveling up your abilities to tell a story better. I know that might sound crazy, but anyway, enough jibber jabber. Let's embrace our grossness. Let's start drawing. So you're probably gonna see all that nasty. Look at it. All right, I'll shyly take my hand away here because it's just gross. All right, so let's do what we're gonna do here. Grab our silhouette brush. I don't think that's big enough. Let's get a nice big fat brush, and we'll lock that up. Is it working here? Cool. Okay, so I want to try to think of. We don't do women. Like I don't draw enough women, so we're gonna try. We're gonna do two females and two males, and I'm going to just use like either we'll do like maybe we'll start with the guys because those are the easy ones. Let's just do like a Hulk kind of character, and I'm not trying to look for anything too not necessarily dynamic, but just stuff that's so over the top that it's just unreal. Again, these are just like warm up stuff that you can always go back to and pretty much put any character you want on top of it. And then after all this, we're going to be getting back into some Jessup King. Do some web comics. Make him a little thinner too. Do three from. No thanks. I want him thin, but maybe we can have like a little bit of muscle going on in there. I don't know. It almost looks like his hand over here is like resting on his hip. But we definitely want to have like a more fists, more fists, more fists. Put like a big old fist up here. Some forearm jazz. Cool. Okay, that's one done. Turn that off. Do that one. So we'll start with another guy here. Maybe we'll do like a Spider-Man, not a Spider-Man pose, but like a Spider-Man kind of lanky character. Yeah, how's it going too, everybody in the chat too? Apologize if I haven't said hi to everybody. So what would we can just start breaking some stuff up a little bit here. And I tell you, this stuff here, it's easy to do what I just started with, where it's like a front-on shot. But trying to get your brain to figure out shapes creatively in this stuff, honestly, it'll give you a headache. It gives me a headache sometimes, but that's good. It's a way for me to know that my brain's working. So like what I'm seeing already is like if I were to grab White here and just do like a line, that would be his back. And this is most likely what we'll do. That would be his torso, and then this would be like the back version of him kind of like leaning over. I think it would look pretty cool. And I mean, I'm really pushing with shapes here too. This isn't, I want to say structurally sound, but it's not like a traditional 6 heads high kind of crap. That stuff's not fun. Let's just use this because a lot of this stuff too, guys, if you're not doing something like this, or another reason why I might encourage you to try it is, like I say, this is a great little warm-up exercise to sort of get ready to do your stuff. But the value in it is huge. Like you'll always go back to maybe not just pull from this stuff. Like if you're ever in a jam and you can just flip through your sketchbook of like silhouette characters or something, right? Or if you don't want to do silhouettes, you can just do like gesture drawing, right? But you can do whatever you want with that stuff, and you can always pull back and reference it again. But it also like this stuff, it broadens your understanding of art, poses. A lot of people they always ask about like how do you make stuff dynamic and stuff. Just spending even a little bit of time doing this stuff, like it's just scribbles, right? And trying to find something cool in it, that in and of itself is pretty slick. See, so now I can kind of see him looking in the foreground too, but maybe we get like a head kind of coming over here or something. Don't spend too much time with them. So we got 1, 2. All right, now we'll do ladies. Let's do. All right. Since I don't draw enough women, I'm just gonna do like the straight on for now. I know it's not good, and the reason why is I'm not necessarily. I don't have enough range and confidence in different shapes and poses for women. Which is another reason why I want to start getting into doing this a lot more often. Because I need to bulk up my female anatomy. Imposing a lot better. And we're going to do like a bigger lady too after this. Because I think that'll be a little bit fun to draw. I feel like I've already done this pose a bajillion times. It's like the Storm or Jean Grey pose. But that's okay. I don't want to overthink it. Okay, we'll go with that. We got one last one. We'll do a bigger lady. Maybe she's like lifting something over her head. And for those who aren't unfamiliar with drawing like this, I just want to just make sure that I highlight some of the stuff to really, worry about this. But you don't have to think about when you're doing the gest or the silhouette stuff here. And again, this comes from concept art for the most part. Just the thought process behind this sort of thing, where you let your brain sort of decide or figure out. Like, the brain's very good at trying to find understandable shapes in objects, right? Like, if you think about uh, what is it? Just staring at the clouds, right? Daydreaming, staring at the clouds, and oh, you see a lion in there or something like that. There's no lion in the clouds, right? But our brains are constantly trying to find familiar shapes and things. So, what's cool about just doing this sort of stuff is it's that exact thing. It's how do you find powerful shapes or gestures or composition in just a simple thing. I'm not thinking about like, okay, well, this specific line out here is going to be her arm like that, and then here's like it's not precise. I'm not doing this. I'm not taking the silhouettes and we're not turning it into line art. We're not doing that. Okay? That's not what we're doing. And you'll see once I print these out here. So, I mean, this is fine. This will be good enough, like we don't got to go too crazy here. Okay. So let's just print these out here. Give me a second here. File print. The best part here. If it doesn't print, they'll have to just go, okay, screw the webcam. I'm actually going to look, honestly, guys, I'm going to start putting some money away and try to upgrade the webcam just because we've been using the webcam now for a while in the show. I'm getting a kick out of it, and especially if I want to get back into doing this, or there are times when I do some traditional stuff, and I want something better than what I currently have for webcam purposes. This is old. This is like right from video 1 on this channel was this webcam, and it's still there. It's still trucking. It's not the greatest you're going to see when we actually start drawing, but either way, if you guys know of a good webcam that's not like brutal, like not super expensive, that a lot of people maybe on YouTube or Twitch use, please feel free to send me a link anywhere you guys are following me. I'd really appreciate that. Okay, before I do that, I'm not printing in straight black. I'll just destroy this stuff. So let's grab white. We just reach around here. We're gonna fill it, and I think we can just go right to like 10% opacity. Like, I think that should still print out okay. Let's try it. Print properties. Let's just hit print. Let's see what the hell happens here. Alright, well, that's a problem. Print settings. You can tell how often I print stuff, eh? Properties. Let's check this out. See, that's the best part. I have it on portrait, and it didn't want to. Sorry, guys. Uno momento. Okay. Maybe it's in here. Rotate paper 90 degrees. Let's see if that's it. That was a weird thing to have turned on. There we go. Okay. Let's print that out. Okay, and so let's see what you guys are saying there. Kitchen, sounds really crazy you saying that you're not confident in your work, but I guess we all go through the same emotions and critiques about our own work. Yeah, I mean, I just want to make sure that I'm crystal clear on that. Okay, let me just show you guys. So this is like 10% opacity from black anyway. So it's perfect to draw over. I might even be able to go a little bit lighter than this, but this is fine. This is more than enough. And I already have like hole punch paper, so I just put it in there. Normally this is just cheap. This is what I always use my like. For many years, all my sketchbooks were just this garbage printer paper because it was cheap. We didn't have a lot of money growing up, and this is what my parents could afford. It's what I could afford. So that's all I used, and now I love it, and I get used to it. My inking tools that I normally use, even though I have these right here, this right here is the expensive Bic brand. Okay, just for proof, I have a bag if you guys are interested. But this wonderful drawing tool right here is amazing. I grew up with this, and I'm used to it. The Bic pen. We might even do it today, just for old time's sake. I don't even know if you can read it, but there's the Bic logo on there. I highly recommend these tools. Okay, you don't have to have absolutely amazing art tools. But anyway, the confidence you're talking about, yes. I mean, I know I'm just being a little bit of an idiot right now, but let me just get this queued up. I'm confident in the final result of what I'm doing. What I just meant by saying not necessarily confident in the line art, or especially in the female form, because I don't find it interesting to draw women. Whether that's bad or good, I don't know. I like drawing big muscle dudes, and I don't know why. I always have. There's just something. There's a lot of power in there. Not to say that you can't have powerful women and stuff. Absolutely not. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's just I have more interest in drawing. You know, everybody's got something they're interested in drawing, right? Some people love drawing backgrounds, so knock it out. Just draw backgrounds all day, you know. But I want to get better. I don't want to just put myself into like a certain situation here. So that's why I want to get better with this. That's the confidence I was sort of talking about. I know the results that I'll get by drawing, just because of the experience I have with drawing certain things. It's the same thing over and over again, really. Let's be honest. If you guys have a format that you like to draw in already, you've pretty much got like your routine down. You know, you've got your beginning, middle, and end. If you're going to talk about it like a story, do we get that right? There we go. Cool. So we're good to go. And it just, you know, you build your confidence that way. Not a big deal. Anyway, okay. So let me just move this. Don't have a whole lot of room. We're going to switch it up. Hopefully it's not too gross for you guys here. Biddy, sorry. I'm working on a voiceover and going to have to come back later. Hey, no problem, man. I will see you later. Thanks for popping in. What do we got here? Kijin, my man. Inkbot, how's it going? Kigai, sorry. Hey, John, you must be streaming a lot more lately. I have good luck. That's good. I like to hear it. All right, so let's try to switch this over. I hope this works. I think I had this set up correctly. If I click that, it should just flip over. All right, now I'm going to adjust the webcam because that's a little. It's not bright enough. Look at this. I'm telling you right now. The lighting on this just makes this hair look disgusting. This looks like it's burnt with like a cigarette, or like I took a lighter and it just burnt hair. That's so gross. Look at it. Look at it. Okay. Let's try to fix this here. If I blind it out with enough light, it might look like I shave or something. See, now it's still gross. Whatever. All right, let me just get this one here that I did before. I just want to see how this one comes up so you guys can still see it. Yeah, see, you can't. There's just too much light. Let me see if I turn some of this, pull this light back a bit. Yeah, we're going to have to get a better webcam, you guys. Because watching people draw is fun, isn't it? Okay. Let's just try not to get too crazy here. All right. So we'll hit save. And okay. Okay, cool. So we're going to start with this big goof. You could actually, to be honest with you, grab a pen and just like knock this stuff out, just like you normally would. I'm going to just use pencil first, just to sort of gesture in an idea of where some of this stuff is. And then we'll put like some pen over top of that. And the best part is like right here, this head, just so you can see like the way the brain works. You could put the head right here in front of everything, so he's kind of leaning forward, or you could like put the chest here and the head in the back, so it looks like he's leaning back, and it gives him even more power, I guess. But I'm gonna do that because I think that'd be a little bit fun to draw, and that's what I'm talking about. Like that's what's really cool about just doing this sort of exercise, right? Like we can put pecs up here, and then give him like massive arms, or we can give him like massive pecs. You know, you can just sort of experiment with this, and there's really nothing. There's no wrong way to do any of this. Just fun little stuff. And again, this is really more for like concept art because you could just turn any of this stuff into like armor or a superhero or whatever you want, right? This could be the Hulk. This could be a stylized Thor. It could be Thing. You know, you could do whatever you want. It could be Jessup King. It could be anybody you want. Alright, so give him like his little head. And you don't have to follow everything that's there. You can sort of wing a lot of it too. Potemkin. I love playing Potemkin in Guilty Gear. That's hilarious you brought that up. Maybe I'll go grab a webcam. I'm thinking like tonight, but I'm like, oh, I'm drawn already, so let's not do all that. Maybe tomorrow I'll go grab one, give it a little test run. Right, so I'm looking in the shapes here. I've already understood that I'm going to start putting an arm here, right? So you can kind of see where well, you guys can see as I'm doing this what I'm doing here. Let's start figuring out where like a lot of these shapes are. And this is that grid that I'm kind of talking about. And this I will 100% give credit where credit's due. You guys know I won't try to swipe something that's not mine and not tell you guys where I found it. But like, so I feel like I continually say this is like a concept art technique, which it is. But this right here, this I just want to for sure. If you guys are interested in this, go check out Sketchcraft's YouTube channel. He has a lot of this, like hours worth of this kind of stuff. And the reason why I wanted to bring it up is this little thing here I've actually started doing on my own as well. And it made a lot of sense. You guys know how I talk about form and all that cool stuff. This really highlights that. You're really breaking down a shape. Like, you guys know, like if I was to do this shoulder, this when I tell you guys to render and think of form, you have to think of like the planes that are in there, right? And this is really what the planes are, kind of like a 3D mesh. And there's a lot in there, but you don't you can simplify, right? You just need to know where this like the center is in these things. Not for any particular reason other than to be able to wrap forms around it. That's all. That's the only reason you need to go in there to worry about that. Doing what I'm doing right here, this is just detail stuff. Hey John, do you watch other people draw on their YouTube channel? Oh yes, I do. Art, Curtis, yes. Sketchcraft, like I just brought up, I watch pretty much anything he puts out. Who else do I watch? Trying to think. I think the answers would come a lot easier than this. Besides his, I think his channel is what I mostly watch. There's a lot of overlaying things like his view on not necessarily just his view on art, but it seems like we have a lot in common. Drawing style, drawing lightly because we've got snapped up wrists, and carpal tunnel is huge. So just draw super light all the time. If you notice you're pressing hard, stop doing that. Especially if you want to draw for a long time. I relate a lot to what he's doing, so I just watch him. Other than that, I mean, there are some other people, but I don't really like all the normal people like Proco. What the hell's the other guy's name? He's a Marvel artist, and he used to do a lot of like post, not post. What are they? They're like sticky note characters, like warm ups and stuff. Jersey Droz, I pretty much watch anything he posts. But everybody else there, it's really just a lot of what's it called? If I'm in the mood, kind of thing to watch. There's not too many artists that I can think of anyway that I make sure I watch their drawing stuff, which is weird. What is up with Castle Dracula? How's it going, royalty? So Castle Dracula is one of the projects that is on the back burner because I would always, I could never stick with a project. A brand new project would always come along and would pull my attention away. A horrible habit, and it's a habit that I've had for a very long time, and it's been the cause of a lot of misfortune, as well as it's not just been horrible, but I mean, being able to not make a decision and stick with something for like a period of time to see something done project wise, I would say obviously it causes more problems than it doesn't, especially with growth. Like if you want to grow, you have to start seeing your projects to completion. I believe anyway. Um, so where I think I would be in a much different position in life if I had finished projects. But can't live in the past. You can only just fix things, right? So to answer your question, I hope that answered your question. Right now, I'm focusing on Jessup King. I don't know when I'll leave Jessup King to work on other projects. So obviously, what is it? There's Castle Dracula, and there's also here. Let's see if the Bic pen's gonna work nice. Yeah, it flows good. How's it pick up? Yeah, we'll just use the Bic pen. Old school. I just want a pen that I don't have to press hard on. I just want to be able to flow with this stuff, and that's the whole reason. Anyway, so there's like Godslayer was another book. Castle Dracula for sure. What else? Squirrel God. I actually am really I that one and Castle Dracula are sort of like once I'm done Jessup King and I'm going to move on to something else. One of those two most likely will get the pick. Um, but that's why. There's nothing happening with them. I have a day job. I don't have a lot of time to devote to stuff, so I have to be smart about that. But I also have to do my best to make sure I'm doing work on a project, not just drawing fun stuff all the time. Draw jazz. No, I've got nothing against the guy. I just, and this might sound crass or rude, but Todd Knock, that's it. Thank you. This might sound bad, and I hope it doesn't. I just whatever. I don't get any value myself out of that guy's channel personally, but there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of channels out there. There's tons of people that watch my stuff get no value out of it, right? Just depends where you are as an artist. That's all. Not that he doesn't have good videos and stuff. I believe the one video that I watched that I got the most value was when I think anyway he had an iPad Pro review, I believe. But yeah. What's the question there, Pillowhead? My day job is I'm a concept artist at a company called iDream Interactive. We make video games for Facebook and mobile. I will just point out the art that I draw, like what I'm drawing right now, and pretty much anything on this channel is not how I draw at my day job. My day job, like I said, it's a lot of mobile stuff, so everything's pretty much that default cutie kind of mobile style. At least that's what I try to do anyway. I'm getting better at it, but God, when I first started there, it was a lot of work trying to understand cartooning, really, right? And I do believe because I've been there for was it like 4.5 years now, that just because I've been there for so long and having to do the cute kind of stuff, it's a big reason why Jessup King looks the way it does now, and why I'm on all my independent stuff where I'm not working for people anymore, at least currently. That I just focus on stuff I like, and it would be a lie if I didn't say that the work that I was doing at work. That's a weird sentence. The kind of art that I do at work didn't influence how I started to draw, or how I draw now, for sure. But I think his channel. I don't know. And again, I didn't mean what I said about Jazz's channel being a negative thing. Everybody's gonna find some. That's like saying you don't like the U.S. office, but you like the UK office better, the TV show, right? It's all just what speaks to you. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm glad he's doing what he's doing and he's just successful. Let's I will never shit on an artist that's successful. I just feel like it's bad form um, for just the our fellow artist brothers and sisters, you know? Just my thought on that anyway. There's some douchebags that are sprinkled around there, but there's douchebags everywhere. But like, if an artist is successful, they deserve the praise they get, as long as it's not off the backs of like they don't swipe other people's art. If they swipe people's art, then they're not, that's something else. That's not what I'm talking about. But there's people that love like furry art. There's people that love anime. Like there's all kinds of art style. Lots of people they just can't stand um, traditional American style superhero comics, right? Like all the rendering and the shadowing and all that stuff. And there's nothing wrong with any of that. That's what makes all this stuff so good. Is that there's room for all this really cool art styles, or all these really cool art styles. So it keeps it fresh. Like there's nothing more cool than stumbling upon like a brand new artist and you just love what they're doing. Like, you never know what that brings back to what you do. The weekly shows are back. And I don't want to say the weekly shows, but like I'm streaming all the time now. I'm finding it hard to say every Wednesday at this time is the show. So far, I'm just going. You know what? I'll just stream when I got the time. Um, because when I was doing the Wednesday shows, it was fine. But you know what it is? I don't like structuring my life around like an art stream. At least not yet. If I was doing comics or drawing, like let's say Jessup or whatever full time, that was my thing. Then this would be like a different. I would make the time to do that. But you guys know, all of us here that either go to school or have a job or something. I'm hoping you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you come home, you just want to be by yourself. And you never know when those days are that you're gonna have that kind of stuff, right? So if you don't have that, and you're supposed to like stream or something, how many people go to like you have plans to go to a party or something after work, and then you're all jazzed, and then once work's done, you get home, you're like, I don't want to go anywhere, right? And it's nothing against the people or nothing against what's going on. You just, you know what? Watching some anime or some cartoons or some TV shows sounds a lot more relaxing and fun. That's all. Just being a big baby. You get a good laugh while watching Jazza. I'm glad. I'm glad. If you get, hey, then that's the perfect thing, man. If an artist can provide entertainment besides just drawing, great. One of my favorite. I'll tell you this. One of my favorite channels on YouTube is that's not art related at all. Is Dashy XP. Do you guys watch him for video games? He's very loud, but I stumbled upon him, I think, through Mario Maker games. I watch every single video he puts out. Big fan of that guy. You have job and school, double whammy. La, la, la. I like to draw concept art of characters other what sorry character than drawing Batman or Superman. Okay, I think I understand what you're saying. You prefer to draw concept art instead of like Batman and Superman. So you like drawing I'm just gonna say fantasy. I'm sure it's not exactly right, but fantasy characters instead of like superheroes. Nothing wrong with that. I'll probably take a picture and share this stuff with you guys on like Facebook or something, Instagram, all that stuff, just so you guys can kind of see it. Let's grab a big fat brush. What's the fattest brush we got? 0.3? Okay, 0.5. How fat is this one? No, that's not fat enough. Give me a second here, guys. I'm gonna find a big old fat brush. This might do it. Oh. 0.8. Now we're getting somewhere. Yeah, it's better. Just like a quick contour line around it, just so it makes it just a little easier to see. Yeah, so the carpal tunnel stuff I was talking about, it's been fine. I don't think I have carpal tunnel, but I know it's on its way. um, this whole week I have to have done like pop-ups for a game that we're developing. And if you don't know what pop-ups are, if you've ever played a game and like a screen or something literally pops up, like buy now for 10 diamonds, that kind of stuff like that. Um, that's what I've been doing. So a lot of it's not drawing; it's all just like Photoshop, straight Photoshop, right? And because of that, I'm not used to just typing all the time for all day long, right? So I'm here and I'm getting rest here. And what I'm noticing is like if my hand is like on the table like this, it might just do like that, like a little, just that right there. Or if you're drawing, and you're going and it feels like that action's happening. So all in here is like pins and needles, and it just hurts. Um, so I might have to. I don't know. Like today when we're gonna be working on some Jessup King in a bit, I'm in the line art stage right now, which is great because it's just a dead line, so you don't have to use any pressure sensitivity at all. But inking, I might have to start adjusting my brushes just to be a little bit more conscious of it. Like right now, I'm not pressing hard at all. I'm just moving the tool. Instead of how I think most of us work, where you're just like, I want a thick line, so you press the hell out of it, right? And it's a surefire way to start snapping some shit up. Jordan, what's your process here? If you want, feel free. I believe with these streams, guys, you guys can actually rewind. So go check out the beginning or just like flip through there and then come back if you want. What we did is I just made these silhouette shapes, these black shapes in Manga Studio, lowered the or made them kind of transparent, and then printed them out. And now we're just breaking down the forms. There's just a little warm up that I'd like to get back into. I was watching some more of good old Sketchcrafts videos, and I was doing this for a little while, actually for like a good few weeks, and then I just stopped. I think Christmas came up around there. Um, so the value of this, once again, is it's a great warm up for sure, especially if you do a lot of figure work, like we'll be doing with comics and stuff. But if you're not just doing that, if you draw a lot of characters or commissions or stuff like that, now that I have this drawn, right, I could scan this in whatever, or just lightbox this, blow it up, whatever I want. Turn it into the Hulk. I don't know if it really looks like the Hulk, but you know what I'm saying. You could skin this character any way you like. It's an interesting way to work, and I want to start really beefing up a sketchbook full of this sort of stuff because you never know when this stuff will help you out of a jam, and that happens a lot. Like somebody could ask you, "Hey," or just imagine you want to do like a cover or something, right? If you got a whole stack of these, but you got a deadline to hit, maybe a client wants you to do like a team cover or something, you might be able to find like at least if you could do all the characters that you've already done, you just flip through your sketchbook and you've seen them all, you're like, take all that. Or even if you get one or two characters, like that saves time in the long run, right? And I mean, I'm adding a step here with this outline. This is more for, it's just quick to see. Add just a little bit to it. It's not supposed to be a finished drawing at all, but it just adds a little bit to it that gives it a little interest. So I don't know if you guys have ever looked at your own art. Sometimes you'll flip through and something was maybe a little bit more bold than the other ones, and they just stand out, and you're like, yeah, that gets me excited. I think this is run out of ink. Cool. All right, so that was done. Yes, no, I absolutely have. Yep. We'll give credit where credit is due all the time, man. You guys should definitely subscribe to his channel too. Beautiful content there. Um, Left-handers unite. That's right. V. One time I went and got electrodes stuck in me. Okay, and got zapped to test for carpal tunnel. Interesting. Tendonitis can cause the same symptoms, but it's not nerve damage. Regardless of picture. Tendonitis. Let me write that down. I'll actually put it right here so I can check it later. Tendonitis. Thanks, V. I've been doing some stretches and stuff lately. Like this one's been awesome. You just like stretch out the webbing of your fingers. You know what I love about webcams again, besides the disgusting hair, is how it like shifts the pigment of your skin. Like all this looks like it's yellow and green knuckles. It's not at all. Just look. How can anyone love me? All right, so here we go. We got one down. There's a big old beefy dude. Let's toss that now. Let's go over here. And over here, then we got a lanky dude. Remember, we're gonna draw this view from like the back side there. It almost looks like a villain in this one. Jordan, the cartoonist. I always wondered why artists don't reuse resources more. For example, why draw a running pose in every issue when you can draw it once and reuse it? It's a good question. Sometimes I do think not everything is correct. Meaning, like even the pose I just did, right? Like let's say we want to turn it into the Hulk, and the panel, I could just have the panel like this, right? And that'll still work. I could like take all this and then just cut out the arm and then put a new arm or a new head or adjust it. But I think why a lot of people they might redraw stuff, and there's nothing wrong with redrawing. I don't think, as long as you're drawing, that's great. It's that sometimes the perspective or something doesn't work. Like if you've got like three guys running in a scene, unless the perspective's the same all the time. Saying all that, I don't think you're right or wrong at all. Sorry, I don't think you're wrong. Not that, of course, you're right. Everybody's right about whatever they're talking about. But I don't think you're wrong. And whatever gets you to make work the quickest and makes you happy about what you're making, then it doesn't even matter. Stretches, breaks, good blood flow. The thing that was a game changer for me was putting a stress ball at the edges of my desk where I rest my elbow. Oh, interesting. That might be pretty. There's a point where reusing stuff can become a crutch. I read a manga where the artist reused poses constantly, and it was super obvious and kind of stuck out after a while. That's a real life thing too. What are we doing here? This is the back of the head. This is the side of the head. So you guys know of any webcams I should look into? Have you guys heard of certain cameras that other Twitch users or YouTube guys use? I'll do some research for sure. I'm not gonna make it sound like you guys do all the work for me. But I know there's always one that was talked about. I don't know if you guys watch Boogie's channel at all. I think he had one. It was a while ago of him talking about like how to be a streamer or something, and he had links to some of his stuff. Stuff can be super relaxing too. It's a great warm down exercise if you guys do that too. It's funny, the language we use for this stuff, like exercises, like we're working out. But if you're sitting in front of the TV at night sometimes, and you just grab a sheet of paper, you don't have to print this stuff out. Maybe tomorrow what I'll do is I'll show you another way that I do this. It's a method with this guy here. You can use actually two things. You can grab like a gray Copic marker or something. Those work really well. Or there's this, a generic, fresh. I don't know why I got the Sharpie one, but a highlighter. And just make sure it's got like a tip that's like pretty big. You want like a big thing so that you don't use like details, so that you can make big gestured shapes. And you do a couple of those, you let it dry. It doesn't take long at all, right? And then you just sort of do what I'm doing over top of it, or you can skip this step, like with the pencil, and just grab like a pen and just do it with that too. You can hammer a bunch of these out, no problem. Especially if you're watching like Seinfeld or something at night. I'm no expert. Sorry, Jordan. When you first started screen recording, what software did you use? The first screen recording one, I think, was Windows Movie Maker, and it wasn't very good. Then it was Camtasia, and it's been Camtasia ever since. Um, as for screen recording, that like streaming anyway, I use OBS. It's called. There's usually I think there's two that people use, either OBS or what's the other one called? You guys will tell me. Um, XSplit. It's called, like the letter X and split. I'm no expert, but I think the Logitech HD ones are pretty common. Something like $60 US, so that's in your budget. I own one, but don't use it that much. Logitech C90 is good, John. Okay, I think Logitech ones are conference cool. Okay, cool. Thank you guys. I think I'm using a Logitech right now too. Yeah, it's a Logitech. I have no idea. Bargain bin. Yeah, don't worry about the fingers. I came home from work today, guys, and there was a car in my parking or my driveway. I'm like, I don't know whose car it was. So I thought, okay, like this is weird. So right away, I think somebody's in my house. you know, So I go up and open my door, and the cats come running at me. They're doing their normal thing. So I'm like, all right, so there's nobody here. The cats, the cats would be able to tell me their cat sense. Anyway, so I'm looking around, like I don't know who the hell this is. So then I'm like looking online, like I don't know what to do. What do I do? Do I call the cops? Can I just tow this shit out of here? All that stuff. So I was looking online to see like bylaws and all this crap. This is like stuff. I just want to come home and draw. There's somebody in my freaking parking or my driveway. What the hell is this? So I find, yeah, you can just call the cops. They'll come, and I'm like, what cop wants to come to this? Like, this is not. This is stupid. But anyway, a cop would show up, and you let them know what's up, and then they call a tow truck, give them a ticket, and all that stuff. So I'm like, all right, literally, maybe I don't know. As I finish reading that, one of my neighbors, like two doors down, the guy seems okay. There's nothing wrong with the guy. Um, the lady that was over there just decided to park in my driveway because I wasn't there, and she was only gonna be a minute, which is full of horse shit. Because I was at home for like 10 minutes, and it was like, oh yeah. So now I know whose car that is. But next time, I doubt this will happen to you guys. But next time, cops call that shit. Hey, Undead, how are you? Came in late and was watching the delay at 1.5 speed. Caught up. Awesome. Yeah, okay, you're doing a hack, man. Okay, so if you guys ever. I should maybe make a video of this. Because I don't think enough. Maybe people know it. I don't know. Um, so a lot of the people that I do watch on YouTube, even though that question was kind of just brought up, is that their streams, man, are like mine. They're like multiple hours long, and I don't know. Some of you guys can sit around and just watch it. Whatever, that's fine. But I do that. I go up to like 1.5 to 2.5 speed and just like an hour stream is now 30 minutes. Think about how much art content you can go through when you're just flying through stuff that fast. And you can always slow it down once they start talking about something that you like or you think might be relevant or interesting. But yeah, glad you do that, man. Thanks for being here too. Hey, so it was you. Like, have you guys? Let me know. Is anybody in the chat? Have you guys ever just parked in somebody's driveway without knowing who they are, just because you're gonna be like a minute or two to visit your friend who lives a couple doors down? Does that make any sense? I've never heard that, and they're like older people too, so it's like I know they don't care. you know, like old people. Not all old people. Like I'm not saying old people are bad or anything like that. It's just a lot of old people. Like I guess I get it. You've been here long enough. You don't need. I don't care. Just do what I want to do. So good. Also, pro tip: if you want to get a new perspective on the music you're listening to, up the song to 1.5. It's kind of cool. Good point. Jordan, are you going to load this stream on YouTube when it's done? Yeah, no. So these ones too. Again, thank you, V. If you guys ever see an event, actually, you know what? Yes, go do your thing. What I'm saying is rambling. Currently, any video I post right now, it's like automatically uploaded at the time I do it, so I don't have to worry about going back and editing things. So if you go back, yeah, you can do it. Undead did there, man. Just go back, watch what you want, and then just fast forward. It won't take long. Silhouette stuff, super simple. And enjoy. I know paper. Who uses this? Yuck. Waste. I gotta study more of the back. So many muscles in here that they make sense. You know what I find one of my weaknesses are with the back is that I find little areas from anatomy books, right? Like right here. So if you guys, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but if you make like a little square shape for the hips, at the top here you can carve out kind of like this tailbone shape right here, right? So when you're drawing the butt, we're gonna make it ripped, obviously, right? So you're drawing the butt cheeks. Like up here, you can like carve out a little spot where the bottom of the tailbone goes, and then like from here, you can put all these connection lines. Like your lat muscle can kind of wrap in and go down, all this stuff, and that's great. It helps understand that. But when you do something like what we did before, where is it like this guy? Right, when I'm drawing like the front, I'm so much more comfortable with the anatomy in here that I can just wing it, and I can get like I can make big bulgy pecs, and I've drawn the front a lot more than the back, and because of that, I know back shots that I do. Not that they're just not only are they tough to do, but they kind of come across flat to me. Like I still need to. I'd have to spend some actual solid time trying to understand these things a little bit better. I'm trying to break them down into like planes right now. Just I know this isn't at all how they look, which is bad. Bad, John. Do you live in a complex or like a multiple individual houses? And a complex would be kind of tricky to get a parking spot. But no, it's just like a regular house, man. People can park on the street. Literally, that this is the best part. This is what I love. Okay, so again, that guy that she was visiting, I have no problems with him. The guy seems very nice. I've shot the shit with him like briefly, like neighbors do. As you walk by, how you doing? How's it going? All that stuff. Great stuff. He hasn't been a jerk at all. He's been a very nice guy. But he has a handicap permit for his wife. She's got some health issue, which is fine. You know, do your thing, man. So he's got his own little private parking spot right in front of the house. Now, it's not just for him, but he's the only guy in the area that requires that, right? So it's his, unless somebody on the street comes by and they need that spot for they're visiting somebody, whatever, right? That's cool. But my neighbor, my direct neighbor, they must be on vacation or something because they're not home. So he, and I already know this, because we talk from time to time. He uh, he just parks in their parking lot because they're not home, or their driveway because they're not home. That's cool. So that means there's a spot totally open for this lady who also had a handicap sign or a little like thing dangling from her window. So still doesn't make any sense. I don't know, man. I'm just glad that she came out when she did. So I'm like, because I knew we had the stream that I was gonna do, right? And I'm like, great. I'm gonna be late for that, but there's no reason to dwell on it. It's done. Now we're drawing some weird stuff. Just put a cape on him. Hey Leadfoot, how's it going? When you study anatomy, do you draw in your style or realistically? Um, I haven't studied anatomy in a while, but when I did, I would basically try to copy whatever it was that they were showing. So I would never look at how to draw a pec and then try to draw it in my own style. For me, that never worked. It never made sense to do that because I always looked at it probably a little bit more analytically. Like I would never try to learn math in like a style. I know math is different because it's either right math or wrong math. But you know what I'm saying? Like I've seen some stuff where people have been like breaking down division differently. So I guess there's styles in that. Maybe that's just a horrible reference for it. But for me, I always noticed that if I looked at an anatomy book, read what the person was saying, and I don't think enough people do that. They don't read why, like if there's words there that the artist is telling you why they're doing certain things. It's like a huge chunk of stuff that people aren't even looking at. But reading that and then trying to copy the picture because if I could redraw what they were doing, then I could break it down into kind of what you're seeing now and figure it out that way. Because in my opinion, and I'll take this to the grave, what I'm doing right now, this sort of thing of breaking down structure or or breaking things into form and structure, you could put any style you want over top of this. Now, don't get me wrong, this is heavily stylized for sure, um, but you could tame the silhouette down or whatever you're doing. But if you can break shapes down into this, I know how a forearm works. I might not know all the muscles and anatomy in there, but hopefully I can convey the when somebody looks at this, they understand it's a format, right, or a forearm. It's like an icon, right? Like if you draw symbolism, right, like this symbol here means peace. It's you understand it. So if you think about breaking forms down so it's a symbol of what it is, you can put any style you want on it, whether it's realism or if it's heavily stylized cartoon stuff. Um, and that is something that I don't know if a lot of people do when they're studying anatomy, especially anatomy, is because a lot of anatomy is just boring looking, so they try to stylize it up and stuff, which I believe is like you're not wasting your time, but you're not using your time effectively. You're trying to get to the end point without spending time. You're trying to look for style over substance, and if you're going to put the word study in front of anything, then it's got to be about substance, or else what are you doing? You're just trying to draw. You're trying to draw from your imagination based off of another drawing, which is I don't know. It's a little odd. Good old suburban living, yeah, I know, right? Suburbans. Canada is weird. People don't park in other people's spots. No, they don't. I've never seen it before. That's why I was like, what the fuck? This is so weird. That's why I didn't even know what to do. I'm like, the cops. Who calls the cops or something like this? Like, it's not a threat. I guess that's what you're supposed to do. You call them, they show up. All right, this not supposed to be here. No. Because I was just gonna call a tow truck, but then why I stopped them. So I'm like, not that I'm gonna go to court over it, but like, they don't want to have to pay. Who wants to pay for that? And if I'm not allowed to have done that, then I would have to pay, right? And since I don't know the bylaw on that, I didn't do it. So I looked, and it's like, no, you call the cops. I'm like, fucking really? All right. Troy, I studied anatomy a lot in high school, and I have several books on it. Cool. Leadfoot, thanks, because I draw very cartoony, I suppose, but I noticed lately my proportion and not being able to draw from imagination difficult, so I want to study. Okay, yeah. There's a couple things there, right? Like I do think studying anatomy is important, especially if you're drawing people, like human beings. Uh, just you don't have to draw perfect human figures. So if you look at what I'm doing, and I'm not trying to say that this is perfect at all, it's not. But this stuff still hopefully has like parts of it that make it feel real in a way. Like forget all this. This is all like long and janky, but like an arm, right? Like this is still stylized for sure, but there's still an arm in there, right? Whereas, and a lot of that just comes from studying legit anatomy. So I know if I go like, if I'm gonna make a forearm, right, and if I'm gonna go like, okay, here's the tube shape and how all the muscles go in there because you study it and all that stuff. But if I just like start going, okay, here's a big old forearm muscle here and a big one down here, you kind of know where you can push things just based on study. So it's important to do that. But at the same time, I just want to highlight this as well. If you like cartoony art, I would study the hell out of cartoon style art too, because if that's what turns you on about drawing and gets you excited about drawing, that's where you see yourself going, do it. I would study anatomy only when you start noticing that you're getting stuck. So like if you're like me and drawing backs suck, then it's time to study. And in order to study, you have to break something down to its simplest shape and form so that your brain can understand it. It's your brain has to catch up to whatever else you're doing, right? So for me, drawing the chest straight on shots way easier because I've done them a lot. So I have muscle memory and I have like literal muscle memory too, right? But when it's the back, there's a lot of doubt and question, so I can't just go and attack it like I do if I was drawing the chest. I could draw that stuff with my eyes closed. Well, maybe that might be a fun little experiment. But regardless, you still have to. I have to put in the hours to break it down. A legit object of the back, let's say, I have to break it down into a way that I can understand it how I can break complex shapes down into simple shapes so that my brain can understand it. And then once it starts understanding that, then I can start building on that foundation of, okay, well, how far can I push it? How can I bend it? How can I manipulate it in space? You know, and those are all things that happen over time. It's not stuff that you'll just get the first time. And cartoon is a style of drawing, right? It's not the wrong language. It's not a wrong style. But I would also recommend, like, I still think, yeah, look at like anatomy books for sure. But there's tons of cartooning books out there. I'm not versed in a lot of them, but you could probably find a lot of what you think you're missing or wish you need to get better at in those books too. Yeah, Bridgman's Guide to Anatomy is awesome. Good Inkbot, that's good. Hey Felix, how long have we been streaming now for? I wanted to see. This has been going for. It's been an hour already. That can't be right. We already been going for an hour, you guys. We have. Whew. All right, we got to speed this up. We got 4 drawings to do, and interesting. I need to get a better brush. This or a better thing. This isn't doing it for me. Let's see what we got here. We got a fatter brush than this. 0.8. What about in there? Start busting out the Sharpies. Alright, take a look see. How just go 0.3. Let me just try with a Sharpie. Feels bad drawing the Sharpie. Should probably put some paper under it. There we go. Just goes so much quicker. Cool. All right, another one down. Check it out. Looks like he's staring at the peace symbol. It's funny. Okay. What do we got there? Get this one. This one. All right. Forget the generic one. Let's go with the bigger lady. That'll be fun to draw. Want to send fanner? Just send me an email. I'll set you up. Thanks, man. Oh, no, no, from the start. Built a wall. Yeah, no, this, like I said, it's already been, what, a little over an hour now? I felt like it just started streaming too, man. I think after this, we'll just get into some Jessup pages. You're right. It's like, right, like how long, and then it's not a warm up anymore. For printing purposes, how crappy do things look if you draw something larger and the printing size and scale it down? Usually it looks better, I found. As long as you're not making it so much bigger than what you're drawing. Because their lines are going to shrink, right? So if you're using fine lines bigger and you shrink it, they're going to get even finer. So you'd have to be careful. But generally, if it's not like a huge resizing, they look better. That's why traditionally, like comic books and stuff, right? You draw an 11 by 17, but they don't print at 11 by 17. Well, one thing you could do, V, is if you don't have access to a printer, take it to like a Staples or something and just print it on cheap paper at the size that you think the tarot cards might be printed at. If you have a printer, then it's an easy test, but not everybody's got one. Oh, didn't those printing sizes? They were, I think they were. I don't even know if they're printed yet, but those they were just going to be like regular poker size cards. I think tarot cards are a lot longer. Are they not? They're like rectangles. Try to break this shape up. What's going on here? Cool. Let's give her some flowing locks. I don't know. All right, so that one's done. Let's do a little outline on it, and then we'll save some of these for tomorrow. Hey, Jojo. What's up, Papa Popo? Hi. You're done looking outside? Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna put or I'll take a picture of this. I'll post them online for you guys to see too. So we got. I can't even see the webcam here. I don't even know how well these come in. Hopefully they come up a little bit for you guys. So we got the bigger lady here, just holding something up. I don't know. We got that one, and we did the big dude in the beginning. Another big guy. Just playing around with more shapes there. And then we wrapped up. To wrap it up, we got the guy on the back. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop the video here. That way we got two separate videos. That way I can separate them out a little bit. I will be back in about a half hour, 45 minutes. I'm just gonna make something to eat, and then we should be drawn for the rest of the night. Okay. So I hope to see you guys around. I'll make a post online as well on Twitter. I'll post on Twitter when I go live. Okay. So I'll see you guys super soon. Hopefully the the quality was alright for now. I think if we're gonna keep doing this, I'll look into getting a webcam just to make it a little bit, more appropriate for you guys to be able to see it. Okay, so I'll talk to you guys soon. Keep reading comics, keep making comics, and I'll talk to you then. Bye bye.